Chuks Okorafor, man. We re-signed him. Was it 3 year, 29? It was like 29.9, I believe it is. M's in the bank. Roughly around a 10 $10 million per year average, roughly. What were your initial thoughts on that, man? Bringing him back, and then for that price amount.
Almost had a heart attack.
In a good way?
No. Well, the first numbers, I think it was 8 million a year. Those were the first numbers that were coming out. And then it moved up to even more, to where it's basically $10 million a year. I don't know exactly what the market is for starting left tackle with Chuks caliber. I don't know if he would have got that somewhere else. So,
starting right tackles, yeah.
Yeah. Right tackles. So would he have got that somewhere else? I'm still not 100% sure because we signed him pretty quick. Yeah. If that's what it takes to get just a starting right tackle, because that's what we can all agree Chuks is 2 times, 2 years in a row. And he wasn't our worst problem on the offensive line. He's young, so maybe we're getting him at a good point in his career where he plays up to his peak from age 25 to age 28. I just think the number's a little too high, but yeah, not the worst move if we're talking about having a better offensive line this year. I mean, he was, like I said, not the worst problem last year. If anything, I think he maybe played better than what he did the year prior. So not the end of the world, just maybe a few million too much.
Yeah, I kind of had the same sentiment. I think that with Chuks, he probably was in some type of bidding war because he has started for 2 years. And even though, like I said, he's not all world, he's still a quality starter. He doesn't kill you. And you look at his numbers as well, it's like, man, that benefits him. He hasn't given up a ton of sacks. Even though when we watch him, we don't feel like he generates a ton of movement in the run game. We still feel like at times, he holds his own. And the way free agency works is this, man. Guys get paid and guys can get overpaid if they hit the market. No different how we looked at Al, right? Remember Al Villanueva? When he left here to go to Baltimore, we was like, man, Baltimore, y'all paid what for him? But the problem is when you're talking about a left tackle who started as long as he has started, that's the market for those type of guys. So even though we necessarily didn't want him here and we didn't feel like he was worth that dollar amount, that's what you get sometimes in the open market. So for Chuks, could he have went and got this on the open market? Sure, or something in that ballpark. But at the same time, we have a little bit more intimate knowledge of him because we watch him every week. We see, the struggles that the O-line has had at times. And even with him, in a sense, in terms of how he even became the starter, right? It was like, man, initially, Banner beat you out. Banner got hurt. Next year, Banner's not healthy enough to go against you. And now it's like, all right, if Banner is healthy, do you still keep him on the roster and let those dudes compete again? Because there's no way it's a competition anymore with, Chuks getting paid when he got paid. Regardless of any of our sentiments about Zach Banner, he can come out there and look like, an all-pro in training camp. You're not benching a guy that's getting 10 mil to play. You're not going to do that. So that's why, for me, now I'm a little bit interested to see, man, I feel like with Banner, where do you go from here? Because now this is clear that Chuks is that guy, regardless of what might have happened 2 years ago, regardless of what people might have felt about Banner and Chuks this past season. The dollar amount tells you clear cut that that's going to be your guy for at least the next 2 years.
Oh yeah. So there's still a Banner move to potentially be made. Schobert getting cut. There's still some more cap space out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But actually bums me out, dude. You saw Devondre Campbell get that contract.
I did. Yep.
Exact market value that we projected, or what Spot Rack had. It was $10 million a year. Dude, Joe Schobert, what would be our cap savings if we cut him? It would be like $8.5 or $9 million.
Yep.
Are we serious?
I saw
Hopefully
it,
this Miles Jack contract happened. Miles Jack or Bobby Wagner or something like that. Because we got to pick up one of these dudes. For us to not be in that Devondre Campbell sweepstakes. I don't know if he would have came here anyway because maybe he had affiliation with Rodgers coming back to Green Bay or he just liked it there. Who knows? But still, but I definitely saw those numbers, value, what we can still clear up in cap space, we can make some really nice moves still.
Yeah.